This could be the change in the Vince McMahon that we all know and love now. And this is kind of where you're finishing up here in this run. Your last match before your break, because you did come back for a little while in the summer, but the last match before your break is a test of survival, Shane. And you just said you were going off to now go teach for a little while.
Yeah.
But the powers that be, the excellence known as the Stamford Brass, put Shane Douglas, young Shane Douglas, in the ring in a match of survival here with the great Haku. How did you survive that last match and move on to your next career?
Oh man, that's everybody's heard me talk glowingly about Haku. Uh, I remember in that match, there is a segment where I get him in an arm bar. Like we're going to arm drag series, I believe, and I get him in an arm bar. And if you look at the look on my face when I get him in that arm bar, there's the light bulb goes on in my head. Like this guy could throw me right off if he wanted. Thank God he's let me have this hold because he was just such a powerful guy, and his reputation preceded him. In the dressing room, I always got along great with Haku and still do. Kind of as a great friend, and always enjoy work. I had a match with him 2 years ago up in West Virginia, and man, it brought back so many memories because he was working just like he did then. But he, when I locked that armbar on him, it was like if he wanted to, you could tell he could just flick his arm and throw you right off. He was just such a bull strong guy. But never, if the finish was me over or Broadway or whatever, there was never any, boo-hoo or frowns or whatever. I'm trying to think what the phrase is that the guys used to use. Anyway, he was always great to work with. Always, just a class guy, a hard worker, made you look great. He used to do the thing when I would work with him where, I'd have the heel, beat me up and shoot me the other turnbuckle. I would do the catapult turnaround, blind turnaround cross body. You couldn't do it with everybody because it's a timing move. Haku was a guy that you knew, like Steve Austin would become later when we'd work with the Blondes. You knew without even looking that Haku was going to be in the right place at the right time. And the first time I ever did that move with him, he, beats me in the corner and shoots me the other turnbuckle, and I jump onto the second turnbuckle and the top rope and catapult and turn around. And when I get in the air turning, I look and Haku is almost back in the other turnbuckle. And I'm thinking there is no way I can fly that far to hit him. And then all of a sudden, he puts his head down and like his hands like chopping air. And he just like starts yelling and running across. And about halfway across the ring, he jumps at me coming down in the air, hits me in the air, knocked the wind out of me. And I've seen the tape afterwards, carried me like an additional 2 or 3 feet up into the air. That's how strong that guy was. I was 225, 230 at the time. And, if you know anything about physics, you have 230 pounds coming down through the air and you're running into it. Not a really easy, it's like a car wreck. And, but it's just incredible how, Haku is known, especially around wrestling circles, right, for his reputation and his toughness, and he certainly has all that. But one of the things that Haku, I don't think gets a lot of credit for is what a damn good worker he is. I don't think I ever saw Haku have a bad match, even when they had him in that stupid, King of the Ring thing. He looked like the kid with a dunce cap on, right, when he was wearing that crown. But whatever task you gave Haku, Ming, whatever you want to call him, he would go out and do with professionalism that, would just really underscore everything he did. And, when you first meet him, and you're aware of that reputation of his, right? And your first meeting, think like, God, this guy's going to eat me alive in the ring. And then he gets out there and he makes you look like $1,000,000. That's where my respect for him really started. And like I said at the outset of this second half of the segment of this episode, uh, my run in that WWF in 1990, although it was nothing more than mid card, I had a shitload of great guys to work with and made good money. You know, had a shitload of fun with the guys on the road, Dustin and Marty and Sean, and really all the guys. It was, at that time, it was very much in my mind like I'm finally in the NFL of my business, and no pressure. There was, other than the pressure you put on yourself to have a good performance, there was no pressure of having to draw. There was no pressure of if the house was down. There was no pressure of, hey, you got to be, do all these extra things because you're in a spot. It was a pretty carefree time in my career.